Good afternoon. This is a software demonstration by Matthew Gannon of the Poll Everywhere Audience Response Tool. What is Poll Everywhere? Poll Everywhere is a web-based polling tool that allows instructors to create polls and collect real-time responses from students. The software can be downloaded at www.polleverywhere.com. There's a free version and paid version. In this little tutorial video, we will be using the free version. The main features of the software, basically it just allows the students to interact in real time during a lesson, where the teacher can invite them to these surveys. The question types include multiple choice, matching, cloud, and short answer. The software also allows for image uploads, and it also integrates with Zoom, PowerPoint, and other LMSs, which we will get into the Zoom and PowerPoint on this, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so here we are at the polleverywhere.com website. And from here, you'll just click Get Started, and it'll give you a few options. You can select K-12 or higher education to get in. And I just did the free version. You can log in with your Google account if you have one of those. And I've already done that. So let's go ahead and get me logged in here. And that'll bring you to your home page. It'll tell you what your activity response URL is here. That's what the students will use either on their mobile device or a computer, or in Zoom and PowerPoint, which we will get to later. But basically, the important part of this is the activities. So each activity you create is basically going to be a question or some kind of interactive response that the students can participate with. So I'm going to go ahead and add an activity here, and it will bring me to this screen that has a bunch of options to choose. So multiple choice, word cloud, Q&A, clickable image, survey, open-ended, competition, and there is a few more. So we'll just do an example of a multiple choice here, and I'll say, and we can type in yes or no, and this is a multiple choice question. So then I will indicate which one is the correct answer here. I'll just click this box. So that's a green check mark. And we're going to go ahead and create this activity. So this is kind of the screen where I've already created a few other activities. As a matter of fact, we're going to go back to those activities that we've created. And I have 3 activities here. The important thing to look at on this screen is these little buttons that turn green and they turn blank afterward. That is you actually activating the question so it becomes available. It won't become available on the platform they're using until you activate the question. So with that, we'll just go into this first other multiple choice question I created earlier. And when you go into this, you can actually configure each of these questions as well, as far as to how people can respond. They can respond just by using the website. They can also respond by using text messaging, which is pretty cool. I tried this earlier. So they'll just text this, and then you can either put a code or they can just put in ABC. And when you activate this, it will actually allow them to text A or B to select the correct answer. That one is a little bit tricky because I was having trouble with it at first, but you actually have, if you do want to allow text messaging on the questions, you do need to click, excuse me here, click on this, then we click tests, and you need to enable the text messaging, which I've already done. So it has it here. But if you don't have the text messaging enabled and you select it, they won't be able to. So you actually do have to go into the settings and enable the text messaging as well. You can also have restrictions on who answers, if you can show the answers up to the the time that they are allowed to respond to the answer, or no timer at all. So lots of options there with each question. And so that's it for that part. I also wanted to add for the text messaging portion of the response options on here, when they are responding to their phones, it has these A or B on the right side. I just wanted to reiterate that the students will be using that for their answers. They won't be typing in yes or no. So that was something that they actually won't be getting the answer. They won't be getting the question texted to them. They'll just be seeing this screen and they're allowed to, in the text, put in A or B. So I just wanted to add that as it was a little confusing to me. Other important things about this is that you can restrict people's identities. They can just use their screen names, which is always helpful. And you can also export the presentation or the activities when you're done and the results if you'd like to do that as well. Okay. So just a brief overview to close this part of the presentation. In our activities, we have the ability to create a new activity, create a new question, correct the question, and then from that same activity screen, we can get into all our activities by double clicking on an activity. Where if you are just using the polleverywhere.com software web version solely, this is where you're going to control your presentation. You can activate or deactivate each question in the top right, and that will be real time. So they will have access to these questions every time you activate it. It's again important to see how people can respond. The website at your the name of the a survey that it gives you that the student can go ahead and click on, and they can do that from anywhere as long as it has an internet connection. So that's basically how the software works. And next, I'm going to start getting into how to integrate it into PowerPoint and Zoom. Okay, as far as the Zoom integration for Poll Everywhere, it's pretty easy. You're just going to go open up the Zoom page. I just have a screenshotted page here, but you're just going to go into the Zoom workplace, and that at the top here where it says apps, you'll click on apps, and then that will bring up another screen at the top that says the apps you have, and it'll also say add apps right at the top here. It will put that up, and you will just select the add apps, and then you can search for Poll Everywhere and go ahead and download it, and it'll fully integrate that into your Zoom. Now, what that does is it just makes it so that the participants don't have to use another platform. They don't have to log in to the website separately. They can just access it on here. It will allow them to register, and then they can just use Zoom as a standalone as a participant using the Poll Everywhere software. So that's really helpful. And also the host that is actually doing the survey won't have to look at that control scene separately either. He or she will be able to control that from the integrated menu that will be on the side after you integrate that Poll Everywhere into the Zoom. So that is it for that part. Okay, for the next part of the presentation, I will give a demo on how to integrate Poll Everywhere software into PowerPoint. Okay, here we are back at the polleverywhere.com website. And we are going to scroll down to the bottom here. And right at the bottom has a little Poll Everywhere icon on the left. and then it says desktop integrations as one of these columns. And right below desktop integrations, you'll see PowerPoint. And you'll also see a lot of other things that this software integrates with, which is really cool. Google Slides will be another one that I was going to do a presentation on, but we'll just keep it like this for now. So we'll go ahead and click the PowerPoint on the desktop integrations, and then you'll go ahead and download it for Windows, and that will give you an execution file that you will click on, and that'll go ahead and fully integrate it into PowerPoint. If you already have PowerPoint up while you're doing this, you're going to have to close it down and bring it back up. That's what I did, and I was wondering where the little button was. But so after you do that, you'll go ahead and have an extra button in PowerPoint, which I'm going to show you now. Share that with you. Okay. So now in PowerPoint, you will have an extra button at the top here. It will be almost at the end, right next to the Help tab. It's called Poll Everywhere. And I've already signed into my presentation here, so it has my credentials here on this top bar. But if you haven't yet, it'll go ahead and ask you to sign in with the same credentials you created your initial account with. And it'll bring you to your presentation. And it will allow you to insert slides with your questions either before the presentation or on the fly. So to do that, you can hit the insert here or insert activity. And this will actually bring up another window. So yes, after you hit the after you've logged into your credentials here with Poll Everywhere, you will select the new tab on new activity, and then a new box will show up that I'm going to need to share with you that I don't think you could see last time. And here, yeah, right here. And so now you have the option to select which one of your activities you would like to insert. So let's go ahead and select this answer. We'll go with 3, and we'll go ahead and insert that slide. And we'll select default and insert again. And it just inserts on the next slide that you were already on. So as you go through your presentation, here, let me share this screen with you. So as you go through your presentation and you have these slides sort of built into your presentation, as you go through it, the survey will become active when you come across that question. So we're on this question in my PowerPoint presentation right now. So this would be an active response that the students could interact with. So either if they're on their phone or on a tablet, logged into the software, as soon as this slide comes on as a survey, it will become active for them to respond with, and all those will show up real time. So it is a pretty cool tool there to do with PowerPoint. Okay, for this final part, I would just like to touch on a few more features before we close this out. So I wanted to go over back into this control screen and your activities that you want to activate for a presentation. You can click on either of these activities and we can activate this. And I just wanted to show you guys that on the bottom here, you can actually see who has responded and the percentage of responses that were correct or incorrect. And so that can be really useful to see who's where in your educational presentation. And an upgraded version can actually track registered participant responses, and export reports. So that could also be really helpful. Another thing you can do here is you can put questions that you have, you can save them to different types of folders. So you can go back to those questions if you need to make a custom template for a new presentation. And you can do that easily just by selecting one of your questions and moving it to this folder here. That'll just be, say, Matt's folder. And that can be moved there, so we can go back and go to that activity and use it in the future if we want to put it somewhere else. Also, there is an option to upload multiple activities with one template file, and this has to be a CSV file. They have a template for that, but that is possible to do, a little more complicated, but that could be helpful if you're wanting to upload multiple activities at the same time. The last thing I wanted to hit on was as far as if you're making a question. Let's say I wanted to add a new activity and do a clickable image. You can actually use images that Poll Everywhere already has in there, or you can upload your own images. So you could even do this. It would be like a multiple choice, and you would say, okay, which one of these is doing the correct option, or what have you. So I thought that was a really cool little feature there too. That's pretty easy to use. I do not believe that with the free version you can do videos, but if you upload, you can also include videos in these your survey presentation. Yeah, so as far as Poll Everywhere, I would highly recommend it as a educational tool, survey tool. It's very user friendly. I was able to learn this just in about an hour, just kind of researching everything, and there's also other tutorial videos on YouTube. So it's pretty well known. It's pretty easy to use. It integrates with both Mac and Windows, which is pretty great. It's nice that it integrates into a lot of external programs as well, like we talked about with Zoom and PowerPoint. And yeah, it's just a really simple program, easy to use, and I definitely plan on using this in the future. I'm glad I did my presentation on this, but hope you guys enjoyed this and got something out of it, and maybe you will use this in the future as well. Thank you. Have a good day.